Hello and welcome to this week's Azure and AI Show. This week we have two new speakers with us. We have Dr. Ashish and we have Karen Patel, and we also have Amelia. Amelia is an MCT and MVP, and we have Tammy Diamond, MVP and SharePoint Wizard, and myself, Frank Falvey, MVP and MCT here. So, Amelia, if you share your screen with us.
Sure, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, you should be able to see my screen right now.
Perfect.
Awesome, awesome. So, hello everyone, and thank you, Frank, for having me once again. So it's great to be here and say hello to everyone else. So today I'd like to talk about the IT help desk agent. It's far away from a really totally ready to use solution, but instead is a work in progress. And I want to share with you so far the status quo. So if you've got Microsoft 365 Copilot license and you are using already maybe Copilot Studio Lite to create a couple of agents, uh, you may feel kind of frustrated because in Copilot Studio Lite, you don't have that much of options. The good news is that with your Microsoft 365 Copilot add-on, you can create, deploy, and use Copilot Studio full and the agents created with it without any extra charges. So if this is your situation, most probably this session today will be interesting for you. So it's going to hopefully take you one step forward on getting to know how to work with Copilot Studio Full and on your journey with agents. So maybe let me just shortly introduce myself. My name is Amelia Hernández, and I'm independent modern workplace trainer and consultant, focusing specifically on training IT admins and end users in the area of Microsoft 365 Copilot. So yes, I'm Microsoft certified trainer. I'm also most valuable professional awarded since May in the area of Microsoft 365 Copilot. And I have a couple of very, how can I say it, very close to my heart initiatives. And one of those initiatives is for sure my newsletter adoptable where I'm sharing hacks with Microsoft 365 Copilot and our Austrian Power Platform enthusiast user group, which is a user group made in Austria with all our heart. And I'm so grateful and so privileged to be part of the team of organizers. So all the promotion is now gone. And let me go straight to the point. So as I said at the very beginning, this is far away, ready to deploy, deliver Asian solution as basically an experiment, and it's a work in progress. And here I just would like to share with you what I've learned so far and hopefully help you to make one step forward in your Asian journey. Okay, so I think it's very important to remind ourselves over and over again what's actually the idea behind all these agents everywhere. So, Copilot is the UI for AI, and Microsoft vision is actually to have Copilot as this trusted AI assistant that is helping you to to work smarter and to be more productive in your day-to-day work. And the idea is that you have agents that are augmenting Copilot capabilities with specific skills and a specific knowledge to automate tasks and business processes. So that's the background and the context of the Asian story. And here is important uh, to understand that are different ways. So Microsoft is doing a great job trying to meet users exactly where they are. So if you are an end user and you have just the need to retrieve information, you can use Copilot Studio Lite in order to create your agents. But maybe you have more requirements than just that. You need your agent to take actions and to maybe check on topics and maybe to use some tools. For that, you have a bit more complex agents able to uh, take actions, and those are, for example, uh, you can create and using Copilot Studio Full. And you also have the possibility, of course, to make all those tools and all those actions, combine actually with generative AI, so autonomous. And here for this part, the descriptions of your actions, the descriptions of your tools are going to be very important in order for Gen AI to be able to do the job. In this area, you have much more advanced agents, and you can create for no code, low code with a Copilot Studio Full. And then, of course, you have tools for developers like the Microsoft 365 Copilot SDK, or you have as well, of course, Azure AI Foundry to create agents. So, depending where you are on your agent journey, depending on your use case, depending on your skills, Microsoft meets you exactly there with tools in order for you to create those agents. So if we go back to the IT help desk agent, we will have today an agent that is able to retrieve knowledge. So it's using retrieval augmented generation RAG in order to combine with large language models in order to retrieve information, and this information is going to be, of course, in a SharePoint document library with documents full of documents, in this case, IT policy documents. And then we will have as well a couple of actions. So we have here, for example, in this use case specifically, you have users that may have questions regarding IT policies, like, for example, bring your own device policies or hardware replacement policies. And then you will have for sure out of those conversations with the agent, you have maybe actions to take. Okay, maybe the user wants to open a case because notice that well, there is actually an issue, or maybe there is a request. So out of user queries, this agent will be able to create and add a case to, of course, a SharePoint list where our cases are going to be saved. And then we will have as another action the option to update update the user on, okay, what is the status quo, the status of my case. And of course, all of this will be in combination with GenAI, and we will see how this all combines, and yes, and create better answers for our agent. Okay, so said that, let me jump into the user interface. So here we are. So this is the user interface of Copilot Studio Lite. So if you have in your use case just the requirement to retrieve information from a knowledge source, uh, this may be what you need. This Copilot Studio Lite offers you the possibility to create a system prompt or instructions for your agent. And here, my recommendation is, do not write yourself this system prompt, please. Use Copilot as well to help you write the system prompt, the first draft, and then improve it yourself. So, and then here you have as well knowledge. And knowledge could be, for example, a SharePoint document library where you have your documents. In this very specific case would be my SharePoint document library with the IT policies. You could use as well Teams, Outlook, and of course, public websites could be also part of your knowledge. And here you have the option to search the whole web, so you can attach to this retrieval of information the search in the whole web, or you can say, hey, only use the specific knowledge I'm adding to this agent. You have as well here the reference of people in your organization. So you can use your organization chart and profiles to answer questions about the people in your organization. And for very, very big organizations, this is really a game changer. So as well, you have capabilities like, for example, the possibility to create charts, documents, or code. And here is how you could enable it. And of course, you have the option to create images just here. So you have suggested prompts because, of course, when you are having a conversation with an agent, you sometimes want it to be quick and you don't need to write over and over again the same prompt. So here you have up to 6 possible suggestive prompts to add to this part. So concretely here. Okay, so set that those are the capabilities you have available in Copilot Studio Lite, and it can be that you need more than that. For example, in the case of our IT help desk use case, we would like to create a case. We would like to get the details of a case. And these two things couldn't be accomplished with Copilot Studio Lite. And therefore, we are going to jump into the Copilot Studio. The user here, this case, my user, has, of course, a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, meaning without any extra charge, I can create a fully full of actions Copilot Studio full agent. So here I am in this Copilot Studio user interface, and I'm going to jump back to the overview. And here I like to show you basically how this IT help desk, or how I built this IT help desk agent. So first of all, I think would be interesting for you to know what is actually behind, because the fundamentals of an agent is, of course, the data that the agent is able to retrieve, and in this case, the SharePoint site, the SharePoint document bibliothèque, document library, sorry, and the SharePoint list are playing a very important role. So here I have a SharePoint site, and within this SharePoint site, I created a document library called IT Policy Docs, and it contains pretty much three documents: one for the IT hardware replacement policy, IT services lead time escalation, and information about something very important, which is the Digital Champions Program. And then we have as well the cases. So the cases list is this list that contains cases. So where we are saving our cases, updating our cases, and of course, when they are already solved, setting up as resolved. And then if we scroll down, we see, okay, those cases, they all have an ID, they have a case title, case description, of course, a priority and a status, and assigned to as well. So if we take a look, what are the required columns? You see the case is, of course, the case title is required, the case description is required, and the priority is required. And you'll see how how the agent is going to behave based on this when we are asking the agent to create, to open a case. So set that, let me go back to the Copilot Studio Full. Um, by the way, in case you've never accessed Copilot Studio Full, just type in the URL copilotstudio.microsoft.com and sign in with your school, school, I think it's working too, with your work account. And then um, scroll down, and here you have the overview. Of course, you have to give it a name to your agent. In this case, we have the IT help desk agent, And then we have the orchestration, which is very important. So the agent is able to use Gen AI to determine just, to generate the answers. So in the events. So this is something important which I've enabled. And then if we just scroll down, of course, we have nowadays some possibilities regarding the model that we are using. In this case, I'm staying with the default one, which is GPT 4.1, 4.1 at the moment. And then you have here the option to set up triggers. In this specific case, I haven't created any specific trigger yet. And here you could add your system prompt. If you realize it, for this specific a specific use case, I don't have a system prompt yet. But of course, the more specific, the more accurate your IT help desk agent should be, then you should go ahead and create instructions for your agent. So a system prompt. Okay, what I do have here is important the knowledge, and in this specific case, I did it twice actually. It's not needed, but basically I added first just one document, and then I, of course, link the whole document library just for me to show you how that this is as well possible. This agent is grounding the responses completely focus on this knowledge and is not enabled to search on public websites, as you can see here in this area. And then we have some tools. We have specifically two tools, the ones that I talked to you, that I told you before. So we have here the option to create a case, and we have the option to get the update or get the case details of course, a case. So that's pretty much it. And without any more overview, I like to just tested it out. So the the agent, let me check. I have the track between topics, and here I will just go ahead and play the role of a user and ask, okay, I would like to know how this laptop replacement process work. So uh, here is the agent retrieving information from the two sources that are available. So we can see here that the work is in progress, searching through these knowledge sources. And if it's lucky and finds information where to answer this question is going to generate an answer for that for us. And yes, in this case, the laptop replacement process work in this way, and it's right now answering for us how does it work. So now let's say that, of course, I just asked this question because my laptop needs to be replaced. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the agent to open case for the replacement of my laptop. So now we can see the agent is not anymore using the knowledge sources. So it has totally autonomous, realize this is something that has to do with the tools and has gone directly to the create case tool and has created was created actually already, or is about actually to create something for us. We can see something very interesting. So we have here the site address, we have the list name where we are where the agent is about to save this new item. We have the title of the item, which was autonomously extracted by the agent, laptop replacement request. And here we have a case description. The user, Amelia Hernández, in this case, is in the context of my user, which is great, has requested a replacement for her current laptop. Please initiate the standard laptop replacement process accordingly. Great. And now what I see is a question. So the agent is asking, hey, we have three uh, three mandatory fields in this list. One is the case title, the case description, and the other one is the priority. And therefore, this agent is autonomously asking the user what's the priority you want to give to your case. And I'm going to say this is high because the laptop is broken. So now is going to say, okay, going to send a response. A case title has been opened for you. And if we now go to laptop replacement request is the case title. Let us now go to the cases list and scroll down because it created it hopefully. Oh, okay, it created it hopefully at the very end and I don't see it, which is very bad. Let me just reload it. Yes. So here we have a new item. So before we had the item 17, and now we have the item 18 with the title laptop replacement request. And here we have the description. And you remember I arrange with the agent that the priority for this case needs to be high because my laptop is broken. So the case has been now opened and I'm sure I will have sooner or later questions about this case. I will need to know what's the status. I will need to know if the case is moving forward because, of course, I need my laptop. So if that's the case, a user can come to the agent and say, hey, update me about case number 18. And the agent, again, autonomously will not go ahead and go to knowledge. No, the agent knows exactly this is an action I have to take because, of course, Gen AI autonomous behind and is extracting the ID out of my prompt, case number 18. So this is the 18 and you see this is the list and so on. And here we have the details of this case. So it's great. So those are uh, three three things that users in our organizations usually, there's three frequently things users in our organization needs. They needs to get answers, so retrieve information out of knowledge source. They may need to create cases and then may need to be updated about those cases. So that's yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me show you more in detail how this is working. So as I said before, very important, orchestration with Gen AI is enabled. And then we have selected the GPT-4 one. It's just the default one. Here we have the knowledge, and here we have the tools. So if we go to the knowledge, so you see the knowledge are, of course, available for this agent, and they are SharePoint knowledge sources. So I can actually open them and I just copy and paste the URL of the document library inside, and that was pretty much it what I did. So one important thing is that the agent, uh, because the orchestration is based on Gen AI, the orchestration Gen AI is enabled, the agent is using the descriptions in order to actually take action. So these descriptions here are going to be key for your agent to work well. So don't miss out not to really be descriptive when you are you are putting the description of your documents. You see, I did an effort to stay just to keep it short and sweet, but still to keep it, to give it the meaning or the meaning that is actually behind. So that's something very important in order for the orchestration to work well. And then if we go back to the knowledge, well, we can see we have just in this case we have the document library, and we have here as well another knowledge. But let me tell you, this is not needed. This document is just inside the document library. So actually, the agent could work exactly the same without this one. So this is not needed because, as I said, this document, IT hardware replacement policy, is inside of the document library with the IT policies. So basically this one we could skip completely. And here we have under tools, those are the actions. So we are not only retrieving information, we are also taking action with the support of our IT help desk agent. And therefore, we have here two actions. And if you have worked with Power Automate, well, welcome to Copilot Studio, because those actions are really nothing more, nothing less than yeah, the triggers, the actions we have in Power Automate. So we have here the get case details, and the way you have to configure this is, again, the descriptions are very important. And here you have to make sure, opala, sorry, wasn't. You have to make sure that the description, the connection is ready with your user. And here you have a couple of options that you could answer that you could set up. One thing is to make sure that this connection is available to the agent all the time. And another thing is which credentials should be used for the authentication. So you have two options: end user credentials or maker provider credentials. In this way, I didn't want it to be asked every time I use this get case details about to allowed to the connection, and therefore I use directly the maker provided credentials. And here, very important, of course, you have to have an input for this action. And the input is the site address in this case. And here I just had, thanks to this site address, the option to select my cases list. And here, very important is, of course, the ID of the case. And here you have two options. You can either go for a custom value or either dynamically fill with AI. And to customize this is important. Again, the description here. And I it was actually totally the same way, so I didn't really had to add anything else, but I did have to check that the ID was here, and that's pretty much what I did. So this was pre-filled, totally, really, uh, totally pre-filled. So this customized was really there for me already. So really, really saving me a lot of work and a lot of thoughts. And here we have, of course, an output. So in this case, when I'm getting the case details, of course, the response is the case details itself. So I'm not, after running, I'm doing nothing else, don't respond. But you'll see in the other one, um, that we do have here in the create case, we do have in the completion, write the response with Gen AI. Okay, so concretely here, in case you miss it. Okay, so this one works very similar. This action works very similar as the get case action. So the details very similar is of course connected. A SharePoint connector is part of this, and then here we have in the inputs as well the same site, and then we have the same list, and then, very interesting, when I selected cases, it was out of the box, those two fields were there, case and case description. And here, those case and case descriptions, of course, are created dynamically, filled with AI, because this is out of the context, one of the best things AI can do for us. And here, if we go to customize, yes, so here I did have to add, of course, the display name, to add a description, and to select the user's entire response. So, and here, as I said before, after running, I'm just giving a small Gen AI generated response, which match perfectly with the use case. You saw it. AI is just saying, okay, we've created the case for you with the case title X and the case description Y. So that's actually pretty much it. So it works quite well, as you saw it. And as I said, it's by now work in progress, because, I have realized I could, for example, add bring your own device policy. So I would just go ahead and add a new document to the document library IT policies. And I could, for example, send an email to the user after the after the case was created. That would be even better because then I could add, for example, the case ID and the case title in the case description. And there are really for our creativity really no limitations or very small limitations, so I could really do a lot of things with this agent. And said that, I would like to go ahead to the presentation. And because agents need system prompts, and prompting is a very important skill also to build agents, I just put here my prompting guide and looking forward for you to scan the QR code and take a look. Maybe there are one of those 10 tips to boost your prompts, or some you have find something interesting for you in there. And yes, so let me just give you 1 sec, and in the meantime, tell you that I'll be sharing the sources, of course, of this demo today because I didn't invent this myself. There are a lot of information out there, and I have to set kudos to Damian Bird, set kudos to the adoption, Microsoft adoption site, and to Microsoft Learn, because those three sources have helped me to build this IT help desk use case. Okay, so I even have a second guide if the one wasn't enough, and this is about prompting strategies and when to use what. So you have the one-shot prompting strategy. You have the strategy where you put yourself this role strategy that you write. Okay, put you are a IT manager, and this you have to do. So this prompting strategies is a list of them and some recommendations when to use what. So that was pretty much it. I hope I didn't took too long and just saying thank you.
Very good, Amelia. Thank you very much. That was
Anytime. Well, it took quite long. I'm surprised about the time. I'm sorry.
but very, very detailed. Any questions, guys, for Amelia? No questions in the chat either. So
Okay.
very
Okay,
good.
very good. I'll
So
set a bit more. Maybe if you have any questions in the meantime, go ahead. And
okay,
I'll be sharing the resources via the chat.
very good.
Okay.
Thank you. Um,
Anytime, anytime. Bye.
so actually, do you want to share your screen there?
Yeah, sure, Frank. Amelia, nice presentation indeed. Very, very impressive, and the details that you presented were really amazing. So, thank you for that. I'll share my screen.
No, you got kicked off. We'll give him a second to come back on. So after Ashish, we're going to have Karen, achieving healthcare.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
Yeah,
You're back again with us.
back again. Yeah. Sharing my screen.
Yeah, here we go. We can see it there now.
All right, I'll put it in the presentation mode. Hope you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, that's
It's
better
all
now.
good. Okay. All right
Yeah.
then. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Frank, for having me here. I'm Ashish Debolia, Managing Director of Data Architecture at a US-based community bank, where I lead large-scale data and AI initiatives across the regulatory reporting enterprise data platform and next-generation intelligent financial systems. It's my pleasure to be with you today at the Azure AI Show. Uh, so today I'll be speaking on data mesh for financial institution using the Azure Data Services, a topic that is becoming essential as the bank faces rising regulatory demands, real-time expectations, and rapid digital transformation, as we all know. Data mesh, combined with the Azure scalable and governed data ecosystem, offers a very modern approach to build domain-driven, accessible, and AI-ready platform. In the next few minutes, we will explore how financial institutes can use Azure to operationalize the data mesh, improve the data quality, and enable AI-driven insights, and eventually accelerate the overall innovation across the enterprises, right? It's a quick agenda of my presentation. So we'll talk about the problem statement, what is data mesh, and the architecture overview, few prerequisites in order for the data mesh to work, then data mesh architecture using AI services, and future of data mesh. Um, so the biggest problem many enterprises are dealing with is getting value out of the current enterprise data architecture. The majority of the data architecture use the monolithic design, as we all know, right? Either an enterprise data warehouse or a data lake. Most of us have been using it, or even now we are using that. Um, and eventually, we also manage the distributed data centrally. In a highly distributed environment, these architecture won't fulfill the future need. So there are some standard repetitive questions that are being asked in any enterprise data platform, and most of us who basically deal with the data platform are very familiar with these type of question, right? So if we talk about the IT team, they constantly ask about the basic operational detail, like applicable application sources, data masking related questions, job failures, and the data availability. And these are some routine questions that are ideally be automated or uh, visible through our dashboard. Then auditors or SOX team, they focus on the governance, so they want to know the lineage. They want to know about the masking timelines, right? Transformation logic, ingestion data history, PI data handling, and maybe the reconciliation proof. So these are critical for compliance, but extremely time consuming consuming to pull manually, right? So and we all face this challenge on the day-to-day basis. And the business and analytical team on the other side are looking for insight. Could be customer 360, and then customer churn trends, and deposit patterns, card utilization, and onboarding activity, etc., etc. And these are also where the data is. Uh, they also ask whether the data is and whether the data set is certified or not, right? Many of these depends heavily on the IT because data is not easily discoverable or documented. So we build something, but we don't document it. And even if we document it, reading through a document and getting used to the data, it's a nightmare. And that brings in some educational challenges on the other side. So together, these repetitive question consumes roughly 10 to 15 or maybe more of IT teams' daily bandwidth, which is very non-productive work where the teams are spending their time on. And this highlights the urgency or urgent need for a self-service data access, better data management, an automated lineage, or maybe unified platform that reduces the overall IT dependency and increases the transparency for all the stakeholders. And that's where the data mesh comes into the play. The term data mesh itself was originally coined by Zamak Dehginia, and it describes the paradigm shift from traditional data architecture like enterprise data warehouse and data lake towards the modern distributed architecture using the concept like domain driven design, platform and self-service thinking, and then basically treating the data as a product. So data mesh is an architectural approach, which is designed to solve the bottleneck of centralized data system. Instead of having one big team that owns and controls all the enterprise data, data mesh introduces the domain-oriented decentralization. This means each business domain, like in bank or any financial institution, we have many domain-based data, that is deposit, lending, risk, marketing, and loans, and cards, and so on and so forth. So the ownership of the data is owned within the team themselves, right? Who basically requires to get insight from that data. Another big shift is responsibility in data mesh. The responsibility of the data access and quality moves from IT team to the business teams instead, right? So who actually understand the data better than the IT team. This empowers the team to run cross-domain analytical independently without waiting for the IT or the central data engineering team to come and provide them the handholding. Broadly, when we talk about the data mesh architecture, that is built on four core principles. One is data as a product. So each data set is treated like a high quality data product with a lot of documentation, ownership, SLAs, and discoverability. Domain data is exposed almost like a public API, right? Which means anybody can subscribe to that API and get the access to the data. Decentralization of domain ownership. Each domain team is accountable for producing, managing, and maintaining their own data product. This ensures the accuracy, speed, and the domain expertise. Then comes third is the federated computational governance. Even though the ownership is decentralized now, the governance standardization are crucial in this case. The principle ensures interoperability, compliance, and PI handling. Then lineage and the data quality across all the domains. Then comes fourth is the service self-service data platform. A central platform team provides the tooling, ingestion framework, data cataloging, data quality checks, metadata system, so that the domain team can operate independently without deep engineering skills. Together, all of these four principles enable the organization to scale data operations, reduce IT dependency, and unlock true cross-domain analytics, right? And importantly, data mesh is an architecture driven and technology agnostic. So data mesh architecture can be implemented in any technology, um, and without restricting ourselves to a specific technology. Organization based on their choice of tool or technology can implement this. Going next is the data architecture and challenges. So this slide highlights the key challenge we face today with the traditional data architecture, especially the centralized one, right? That's what the key focus of this whole presentation is. So first, the number of data sources are exploding, as we all know. Data volume and the variety, continuously grow. So centralized platforms struggle to scale. This creates the bottleneck and this slow downs the overall data delivery. The second part is monolithic and domain agnostic architecture often break easily. When one part fails, everything fails. These systems are bottleneck because they are not aligned to the business domains. The third one is our pipelines. So ingestion, data cleaning, aggregation, and serving are tightly coupled. They are not independent, and this make them too complex, very complex to manage, hard to change, and slow to evolve. Even a small update can affect multiple teams and multiple pipelines. And the fourth one is delivering the consumption ready data set requires a highly skilled data engineer. Every data sets need curation, quality checks, and transformation, which increases the dependency on specialized resources. These challenges, in general, clearly slow down why organizations are moving towards. Uh, shows why organizations are moving towards the model like data mesh, which effectively decentralize the ownership, simplifies the pipeline, and reduce the dependency on one team. And then the scalability could be more effective in this case. Um, Now, we talked about what is data mesh and what are the typical challenges, be it the data architecture or what are the kind of challenges which organization faces. But it is also important for us to know what are the prerequisite in order for having a very efficient data mesh architecture. These are some 6 or 7 strong areas which creates the foundation for the data mesh architecture to work efficiently. The one, the strong data ownership. So we must clearly define business, domain, and assign ownership. The team closest to the data should manage it. This is the foundation of data mesh. Very, very important foundation. Second is data as a product. So every data set must be treated like a product, which is high quality, well documented, and easy to consume. This mindset shift is essential for the decentralization. Comes next is the federated governance. So governance must be consistent across the domain. Our central team sets the standard, but each domain enforces them, ensuring both flexibility and control. And self-servicing platform, um, the platform team must provide the reusable tool ingestion, data storage, data cataloging, data quality checks. So the domain team can focus on building data products and not the infrastructure. Then comes next is the data literacy. Team need basic skills in modeling, documentation, and data quality. Without the data literacy, decentralization become the bottleneck again. And that is what we are focusing, right? So in order for us to basically enable the decentralization, data literacy is equally important. Then comes the next interoperability standards. To avoid the chaos, domains must follow shared schema, APIs, and metadata standard so their data product can work seamlessly together. Then organizational readiness is another important aspect where the leadership and the team must be culturally aligned to embrace the overall domain ownership and decentralization. So data mesh is as much people as the technology. So it is not just the technology or an architecture; it's a combination of architecture, technology, and people together. Then technical maturity. Obviously, the organization need a strong cloud and DevOps foundation, access control, pipelines, monitoring before scaling a data mesh architecture in general. Now we jump into the actual architecture, right? How does the overall data mesh architecture work or design? This is a very technology agnostic view of the data mesh architecture. So the slide shows how data mesh in general work in practice with an enterprise, right? So on the left side of the equation, which is this part, data service, um, we start with domain-oriented data ownership. So each business domain, uh, like I explained in my previous slide, the business domain is nothing but the encapsulation of the identical data. It could be customer. So when we talk about the customer data domain, all of the customer and the associated information is kept in all one place. So we can have multiple domains like customer, product, loan, deposit, cost center, and so on and so forth. Right? So these domains are responsible um, for creating, enriching, and maintaining their data products. This decentralization ensure the accuracy and faster delivery because the data stays within the experts. So we have expert for each domain, and who basically knows about that better can own it. So in the middle, we have the metadata as a service layer, which includes the onboarding metadata, defining the data usage, right? Entity relationship, then curation and the data quality and whatnot, right? This act as our federated governance layer, ensuring the consistency and compliance across all domains while still giving them independence. And to the extreme right portion, the orangish part, we have the internal data marketplace, and this is where domains are published. They are curated data as basically curated data product. The platform helps them build self-service model, so that the other teams can subscribe to these data product securely. A domain can keep a data product private or make it publicly discoverable based on the approval workflow. So overall, this architecture enable a true data mesh by combining domain ownership, strong governance, and a self-service marketplace where high-quality data product can be shared and consumed easily across the organization. Yet, the ownership is not centralized; it is decentralized. There are multiple owners who are governing this whole ecosystem. And now jumping on the actual data architecture using the Azure services. I took this as a reference architecture. This is the reference is mentioned here to the right side of the panel. And talking about this slide, slide demonstrates how data mesh architecture functions in practice, right? Again, data is owned by the domains, but flows through a unified self-service data platform, which is what you see on this slide. So this the ingestion, data transmission, and access layer help team build high quality data product, which are then published in a data marketplace, as we also talked about in the previous segment. So governance is federated, metadata, quality control and masking and enabled um, uh, everywhere, right? Ensuring secure compliance data sharing. So consumers, whether ML model or BI tools, can easily discover and consume these products. Um, um, uh, Now, if we start exploring this diagram, let's look at the left and the right side of the panel, the top left and the top right, which is domain-oriented data ownership. So if you see, we have data provided in the extreme left of the presentation, which is this one, and the data consumer, which is extreme right. So data providers are nothing but application owners. They own their data and onboard it through the self-service process. And then data consumers, which is could be the ML machine learning team or BI users or domain applications, request and consume dataset independently using a governed workflow. And each domain manage its own ingestion, quality, publication cycle instead of relying on a central team. So that is the top part of the framework. Then going next is the data as a product. So if you look at the central part of the diagram, the data marketplace is where the curated high quality data sets are published as a data product. The product go through multiple cycles, which is manage sourcing, then metadata lake and manage consumer data sharing agreement for controlled access. Now, this marketplace, makes each data set discoverable, documented, governed, and easy to consume. The core characteristics of treating the data set as a product, it's what we highlight here. Third part is a self-service data infrastructure platform, which is the bottom part of the equation. In this layer that shows the platform capability that basically domains use without needing to specialize infrastructure skills. And if you see, there are three main aspects of this segment, which is data ingestion, which is the bottom left part of the equation. So we could have the file-based or the API-based ingestion, pre-processing, or this data lends into the lending zone. Then we could also have the change data capture, or this called CDC. That basically right here, all of this data, and then we can use the basically the Kafka for the event streaming. Then comes next is the core data platform service. So validation and ingestion framework and data quality engines, then read and store data, and then event driven architecture is what this segment talks about, right? So basically we are reading data, we are storing it, and making it available for the next step. Then comes next is the transformation of the access layer. The data basically, after we store that data in a lending zone, the basically the syntactic transformation engine comes into the play. All of the data is accessed. If you see, all of the data is accessed through the data stores, which could be the Synapse Analytics in this case, SQL, or API optimization. And obviously, we are using certain data governance strategies here as well for data masking and so on and so forth. So all of that you see in the right side of the panel. So these are the data access stores and data masking engine. Data quality is right here. All of the data is stored and then processed for the consumption. So this is the self-service platform. Domains use shared tool and pipeline rather than build their own. This empowers the decentralization again in another way while maintaining the overall consistency. And that's the theme of the overall metadata or data mesh architecture. Comes next to the fourth and the very important part is the federated computational governance, which is metadata, data quality, and security. So the architecture shows a strong governance baked into every step. If you see, we have metadata application, supply technology, or technical and the business metadata. Data quality rules enforce clean and compliance data. Data masking engine ensures the secure policy-driven access. And pre-approval engine ensures that sharing agreement follow compliance rule. um, so governance is not centralized enforced. It is shared, automated, and enabled in the platform, so all domains comply while remaining autonomous, right? So that's the idea of this. And if you see this whole uh, uh, slide is infused with a lot of technology, a lot of principle, data architectural principle, and the idea is to show everything at one slide. With that, I'll move on to the next segment, and which is basically the future of data mesh with AI and Azure, right? So looking ahead, data mesh is moving towards the intelligent AI-enabled data products. Azure helps us automate the governance of the quality through the purview or the unified analytics with the Fabric and One Lake. With event-driven hub and stream analytics, we enable real-time event-driven data flows. Then Azure machine learning strengthen the overall MLOps or the future reuse, right? So while extra ID ensures a strong security and access control. And with Copilot, as we just learned in our previous segment, and Azure Cognitive Services, financial institute can rapidly adopt the AI-driven insight across the domains. With that, I'll take a pause, and thank you so much. That's about my presentation.
Thanks very much, Ashish. That's great presentation there from start to finish, and very, very helpful there. The last slide there with the future of AI and Azure, and showing the architecture there was great as well. Any questions, guys?
I'm good. I'm just trying to warm up from outside. It snowed here. It feels like Cork in January, Frank.
All right. Well, it's cool enough here now. Then it's gone down to 0 centigrade. So
Wow. Okay.
we had a bit of
But no
frost.
snow, right? This
No,
year?
no, no.
Okay. Cold enough, but no snow.
Okay. Karen, do you want to share your screen there?
Yeah, sure. Slides and PDF share screen.
Entire screen. See the entire screen then.
Yep.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, there you go. You can see your screen now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, my name is Karen, and I have about little more than 10 years of IT experience, and in total, little more than 4 years of healthcare IT experience. So today I will be trying to dive deeper into how we can achieve healthcare interoperability using Azure microservices, the fire standards, and on top of that, how we can use the AI and machine learning. So I will try go next. So in the current world, like when we go to the hospitals or clinics, we are handed the papers to fill out the same details that we fill out like in every other clinics that we go, and that data isn't shared between different clinics that we visit, and so we have to repeatedly do that. And the reason behind that is because like all the different clinics and the hospitals currently, they operate, they all have their own um, EHR or the medical software, and they are currently not able to communicate the data between them. Um, and that's the problem that we are trying to dive deeper today, and how the Microsoft Azure combining with the fire standards could help us solve that. The and also the other important aspect of the current healthcare IT uh, so- software is that they are all like monolithic architecture. So if there is a medical software that is used by any hospital, they have that one single software that is like built and deployed, and then um, if there are any changes that has to be made, they make to that one particular build, and they have to deploy it all together. So it's not like the current they haven't made use of the current microservices that we use in different software industries, right? Like at the moment. So that's the second issue with the current healthcare data challenges. Um, so with that, our vision is to um, like achieve the truly semantic interoperability. So there is a difference between um, achieving interoperability, like I would say, um, like systemic interoperability compared to the semantic. So uh, two different softwares could possibly exchange data between them, but they may not be able to understand what the other system is sending the data, and they might not be able to decipher that and understand that, and so they won't be able to make use of it. And so that's where the standard for data exchange in healthcare comes in, which is currently the FHIR, FHIR. We will look into that later, but that's one thing over here that we will be using. So yeah, these are the three pillars to achieve the semantic interoperability. One is for standards. The other one is to use the uh, cloud native architecture, and for that we are going to use the Azure microservices that can be like flexible, and they can also scale when the patient when the hospital has like too much load. They can scale up the services and scale down whenever it is not used. And then using Azure machine learning and then AI for that to help like transform the data which was previously not so usable, to transform that into truly patient care data for all the clinics and hospitals. Uh, so the next one is how we can scaffold like Azure microservices to transform the monolithic architecture into the modern architectural framework is to use Azure container instances. They can help create individual microservices, run it, and then once their job is done, they can like they can shut themselves down and without impacting the overall health overall hospital software uh, without any issue. And if there are like multiple different my services that are required to run a particular job, or if there is a complex task that has to be taken care of, which require very different kinds of services, then we can use Azure Kubernetes services, which can help like start up multiple services at once, scale up if there is a need for certain services which are highly in demand, and then scale down, um, and so on. And then because it is like we are touching upon the healthcare data, security comes into a big picture. So there is this thing called API management. Using the Azure zero trust policies, and that can help enforce all the securities that is required for handling the healthcare data. So this is the FAR standard that I was talking about previously. It's an iterative on the old Agile 7 standard, which is now like going away, and all the uh, healthcare institutes throughout the world, they suggest to use and adopt this new fire standard. This is much more. Uh, this has like much more improvement compared to the previous Agile 7, wherein here you can send individual um, like for a single patient you can send like granular data, for example, just the patient records or the lab results of the patient, or the billing data or pharmacy data for the individual patient. Uh, like like you can send them individually rather than a complete packet of the data for the whole patient. And it's based on RESTful API architecture, and so it's very easy for the like current developers to integrate with and it covers like very all the different data models for clinical, administrative, and financial data related to the healthcare. On one more important thing for is that it also supports like along with the structured data, it also supports the unstructured healthcare information data. For example, like if there are handwritten notes by the providers or the doctors, um, that could be also added to the data exchange over here. They can take a snapshot of the handwritten note and send that as a form of data. And that could be used later on. We will see how those could be used. And then it's yeah, this standard is currently being adopted throughout the world for healthcare ecosystem. So next one is along with accepting the file standards, um, like how Azure services could be helpful in that. So we have like four different uh, points, four different services um, that Azure provides to achieve all those things. So the first one is Azure Health Data Services, that helps you like out of the box to directly like comply with the file standards. And once you create your API and then apply the Azure Health Data Services to it, your API will immediately start applying the file standards. Um, and so with that could help you like the individual IT teams. They do not have to worry about if they are complying with the file standards or not, or trying to like maintain the HIPAA alignment individually. They just have to adopt the Azure Health Data Services, and everything else will be taken care by the Azure like service. Um, and that's one thing helpful. Other is Azure Service Bus. So imagine like you have different services running, and you obviously want to exchange like send data between them from one service to the other. And that's where Azure Service Bus comes into picture. um, and it's an asynchronous messaging service. So if the receiving service is down for maintenance, like let's say the billing service is down, and you want to send data to the billing service, you can use this, and the service bus here will keep the data with it until the billing service is back to its normal operation, and then deliver it. So you don't have to worry about if the receiving service is up and running or not. You just send use the service as your service bus, and then send the whatever data that you have to. Um, and third thing is, once you are able to like exchange the data between services, your services are running, you would also want to save the data somewhere for later use. And that's you can use the Azure Cosmo DB. um, it's a globally distributed database, and it is optimized for healthcare workload. And it will be like it will be very I would say uh, like mirrored between. As soon as you save the data at one place, it will get saved to the all the other replicas wherever it is. So if a patient is receiving a service in London, and then he or she, they have to move to New York for something, and if the provider in New York tries to access the same patient information, they will receive the same information that was saved in London. Um, and the final thing is again security that we touched upon previously. We will dive deeper here in the security later again. The Azure API management, it will help you rate limit, authenticate, and like all the API lifecycle management. You can do that with the Azure API management. Um, and once this whole system is up and running, um, then you can use the power of the AI with Azure Cognitive Services. So you can like extract. So first thing is you want to extract all the individual healthcare information about the patient and put them in a like useful database or useful location on top of which you can like run the machine learning. So that's where Azure Cognitive Services would be helpful. It will use the natural language processing. It would also extract like useful information from the handwritten notes of providers, which was not you like those data was not usable previously. Like they were usable, but not at a like vast scale. So they can now use those data as well at for the research purposes, running the machine learning model on all those data uh, from like thousands of patients, and they can try to predict the health trend of particular region, or and then later they can provide a personalized care recommendation for individual patients as well. That and with all that, like the providers and the patients would be little skeptical as if how their healthcare data would be used. So to provide the security, Azure also provides the zero trust security model. So like each individual healthcare data of all the patient and like any healthcare data that is there out there on the internet, like not on the internet but on the software that is maintaining it, they will have like to access those data. You will have to prove your identity, be it you're a patient or be it you're a provider, or if even if you are like another service within the software that is trying to access the data that is like that is saved in another service. So all those individual entities, they will have to um, prove their identity to access the healthcare data. And Azure Active Directory is the one that helps with that. And then we have Azure Key Vault that will help store API keys, certificates, passwords, and credentials, and all those things. They will be like centrally stored by Azure Key Vault. And on top of that, there is Azure Security Center, which will continuously like keep threat detection and continuously provide security recommendation for healthcare workload. So we have like multi-layered approach to protect the patient healthcare data. and keep the and all along with that, it will keep the exchange of data between the individual services seamlessly, and also between different healthcare institutes. Um, so what if we with that, if we have achieved all these things, then what are the what do we achieve, what are the benefits after achieving all those things? So there are two different benefits that we get. So one is the economic benefit for individual clinics and hospitals, and then we also receive socio-economic benefit um, for other smaller providers and clinics which may not have enough capabilities or enough resources to use all those expensive technologies at their premises. And the number one, the direct economic benefit that providers and hospitals receive with uh, using the Azure cloud infrastructure is that they will reduce the infrastructure cost. On their end, they will just have to pay whatever they are going to use it. They also do not have to worry about keeping extra servers when there is a peak demand. They Because Azure will be able to scale dynamically when there is a peak demand. It will be elastic, so they don't have to invest more over there. And their IT infrastructure can just be they just have to uh, think about how they could improve the patient experience rather than investing more of their resources into uh, achieving different compliance, healthcare compliance, like the HIPAA compliance or the fire standards. And yeah, they can keep innovating their patient healthcare services. And yeah, so the second thing that they can achieve with that is like you with the Azure cloud native services, we can achieve democratized access to the healthcare equity for very expensive healthcare technologies. Um, so, for example, in the rural area or for the underserved communities, they can use the same healthcare technology that would be used by large institutes in the well-funded urban regions. um, and so if a patient is going from larger cities to smaller rural areas, they will receive the same connected network, and they will receive the same healthcare services even in the smaller regions of the world. And uh, this is laying down a roadmap to transform from the old monolithic services to how we can transform that using the new microservices and using the fire standards. So the individual institutes, they will have to in the in it, it would be able to achieve using different phases. And the first phase would be an assessment of their current technology that they have. They can evaluate their current architecture and identify what different um, blocks they can create from their from their current monolithic service. They can try to extract away individual services into Azure services. That's the phase two. Once they have an assessment, they can try to create those same services, but this time it will be like smaller chunks of those um, into their own compartment in the Azure services, and then build a security framework to exchange the data between the individual services. And then the phase three would be like um, use the Azure HAL data services and apply the fire standards that is required by the healthcare standards throughout the world. And then once that is done, they can start using the AI capabilities provided by the Azure to like achieve advanced analytics and insights from the from all the patient data that they have. And last but not the least would be like keep improving the same uh, infrastructure that they are transforming into, keep continuously improvement and scale up or down based on the usage pattern. uh, and so the Azure, this is like HIPAA alignment that is required by the healthcare institutes. So the Azure, using the Azure compliance framework, all this would be taken care by the Azure, and the IT team would not have to worry about these healthcare compliances individually, like end-to-end encryption for data which is in transit as well as at rest, comprehensive audit logging and monitoring that would again be provided by the Azure, and business associate agreements, and then regular security assessment and certification, for example, like every 6 months to a year, the HIPAA requires the clinics and hospitals to recertify their systems um, every every few months. So that would again be taken care by Azure. So if you're using Azure infrastructure, that would be pretty easy to achieve that. And with all that, like we can create like truly connected, resilient, and patient-centric healthcare system, which could help improve the patient outcome and reduce the cost of the providers and the healthcare institutes. Um, and These are the final four takeaways from the this. So if you are using Azure, enable true interoperability, which is like cloud native microservices architecture, and combining that with the fire standards, we can break down the data silos that are currently there in the healthcare system. With that, the data is now available for the AI to um, to use that on machine learning models, and try to get some insights out of it, and we can use that to get a better patient outcome, and the patients can get better healthcare from it. And then third one is like Azure will give you zero trust principles. Like like Azure runs on zero trust principles, so the patient data is protected, and the patient and providers do not have to worry about the healthcare data security. And the final is if we are using the cloud native microservices, then the same healthcare technology would be accessible on the rural side of the world. And yep, so we will be able to democratize the healthcare technology um, over like all the different parts of the world. That's it for me. Thank you. Any questions?
Very good, Karen.
Great
That,
job.
yeah, great job. I really like the part about the way that it can do all the insights and everything. Like we'd say, if there was a flu coming and different cities in the country, they could have all this data and they can see how to manage it better. Like it's really, really great, you know.
Thank you.
And plus, my country, where I am, Ireland, we got hacked during COVID because they never moved to the cloud quick enough, you know.
Yeah.
And it's 5 years later, and they're still impacted by it.
Yeah. And also like in the company which I was working, they were in the process of moving to cloud, but the current was still monolithic application. And like whenever some service goes down, the whole software goes down and they get shut down for all the different services that they rely on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Make,
definitely a more distributed, fault tolerant model when you're talking about cloud services.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
It looks like Azure Cognitive Services is being renamed Foundry, Azure Foundry.
Oh, okay.
And I noticed that in your slides. And then Azure Active Directory is now Intra. So I'm assuming you have edit access to the slides, but just a couple notes of things I noticed. But great presentation,
Mhm.
Aaron.
Yeah,
That was great.
very good. Yeah, Microsoft is changing a lot of things, aren't they? Renaming
Names
some.
and icons, right? It
Oh,
seems like every time I turn around. Did you see a note that there's going to be a new MCT icon?
I did, yeah. Was there a link to it on?
There was a link in, I think it was the LinkedIn post from, it was either the MCT community or
Yeah,
Sarah Kong. But I went out and looked at it just out of curiosity, and they had a few more details, and they kind of I'll send you a link in chat afterwards.
yeah, very good. I think it's going to be red.
I don't
I heard.
know. The preview did not indicate red, but it used to be red. This isn't my MCT shirt, but I have one of the old red MCT shirts somewhere. It's the same color. It's like this, dark red.
Okay,
But I'll send you a link.
very good.
Karen, are you an MCT as well?
No.
Okay.
Software engineer.
Yeah, I heard you mention you had 10 years experience. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Are those all in healthcare, or did you do other
Um,
industries as well?
I did in other industry as well, but about 4.5 year in healthcare.
That's great.
Mhm.
It's one of the future things anyway. It's
Oh,
going to be big. Like it's.
yeah.
I see a thing there recently that AI there's $37 billion in healthcare. So that's globally, like it's everywhere.
Yeah, when you think about the industries that have been early adopters. Healthcare sometimes doesn't bubble to the top of that early adopter curve. And some of it can be validated systems or, systems that they rely on 24/7. Those are sometimes a little more difficult just to like, oh, it's time to upgrade, or it's time to change something, or it's time to re-architect everything, right?
Yeah.
But cloud native makes a lot of that re-architecture work, just focusing on what you need the apps to do or what you need to do with the data, not necessarily where and how are we going to store the data. If you already have standards like FHIR and other standards. And I was thinking about that too, like FHIR and some of the, I guess, protocols and standards don't seem to get renamed as often as Microsoft decides to rename things. It's not like we have these new acronyms just because it's been 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah. Did you have anything else, Dan, that you wanted to?
The only thing I was thinking about is Monday will be new MVP announcements, so we'll have to watch for that on Monday.
Okay, very good. We're
A
kind
great
of
show.
way over time again this week, but yeah, it was good topics.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amelia's demo kind of worked perfect and all that.
Excellent.
Yeah, we went way over time, but as I say, sometimes we could be here for 2 hours. Some weeks, I think we went over the 2 hour mark there not so long ago as well, Dan. Yeah.
It was fun though. Learned a lot about various things happening.
Yeah. In every area, things are kind of going on with the AI thing. Yeah. Some of the announcements this week, Anthropic is investing $30 billion in Microsoft Azure, and Microsoft is investing $5 billion in Anthropic, and NVIDIA is going to give $10 billion to Anthropic. So it's rolling over every week. There's new announcements of billions of dollars in AI.
Yeah. That's cool.
So guys, I'm going to hit the end of the live stream. I'll be back here again next week with some more new speakers. And then is there Journey to the Cloud show coming up?
Journey to the Cloud, I think I have scheduled for Thursday.
Okay.
Next
Very
week
good.
for this week. Yeah.
This week. Okay, so Journey to the Cloud is on once a month, first Thursday of every month. So if anybody has a topic and they want to speak, it's very flexible topic. It's not geared to AI and Azure. It is anything got to do. Okay, so guys, thanks very much. See you next week.
Thanks, everybody.